Hey everyone, it is the Chaplain. Welcome back to my channel. I just wanted to show you something that my friend and I are working on. This is somewhat of a hex normalized map. Have you ever been playing Axis and Allies and you realize that you can't fit all 78 of your infantry in Germany because it's just too dadgum small with the 32 bombers you have in there as well? So what we wanted to do was we got coasters, 4x4 roughly, so that each zone was spaced the same. So everyone has the same amount of space. We tried to delineate islands, we tried to delineate, see Madagascar's an island, has a circle. East Indies, Borneo, New Guinea, they are islands. We tried to normalize this, so you see even up here, the peninsula of Denmark is a little half circle. We've got some neutrals in here. There are some territories we had to add to kind of keep the space the same, but let's zoom out here. A spatially normalized, hex normalized game. Now we're gonna set it up, we're gonna play, we're gonna work out some kinks, we're gonna figure out some, it took us about 1 hour. Ray said it took us 1 hour to set it up. So there's not even pieces on here yet. We still have to get the pieces on it. We've got the original map here on the MacBook thrown up to the 32-inch, just so we can figure out, for example, we had to figure out how to get the Red Sea to work. We had to figure out how to get the Gulf of Oman so we can get troops into Persia, right? We had to figure out how to do these islands over here and give them the proper spacing. So, this is our initial setup. We're gonna get some pieces on. We're gonna get some gameplay. Maybe I'll give you end of turn recaps. But anyway, let's get started. Setting up, right? I've got 2 games worth of pieces, classic pieces, so we're able to set this up. And as we're setting up Germany, right, we're running into a bit of a problem. All right, so here we go. We've got Norway, Finland, Sweden. Now, Northern Europe is a made-up territory so that we can work on adjacency, but we're trying to figure out, because Karelia in the original map, I'll show you, Karelia is stinking gigantic. It's unfair. But it touches Eastern Europe, Ukraine, Finland, Norway, and the Baltic Sea. So right now, we've been setting up for about 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes. We're trying to figure out how to make this work. So stay tuned, troubleshoot, drop something in the comments. Let me know what you think we should do. Obviously, you'll find out what we do because this video will continue. Hey everyone, it's the Chaplain. We are continuing to set up, and we are noticing that we are missing some zones, for example, in the Caroline Islands, that don't exist in this game right now. We put the Navy there, but we don't have an infantry. And as we're setting up, Ray says, why can't we just put it on the ship? And I said, no, we can't do that. And he said, why? And I said, he just doesn't go there. He said, that's stupid. I said, I agree. But this is how we figured this out. We added a couple, so that, just for the record, you guys, this is not Axis and Allies, the original, okay? This is Axis and Allies, the original Normalized. So this is how we had to figure this out. We had to add, because Eastern Europe in the original map is so long, Northern Europe, the Baltic states, and because Karelia is so gigantic, we added Archangel, and Novgorod. So Finland, Norway became just Finland, and we kind of moved that around a little bit. So we're still setting up. We're still trying to figure this out. Hey everyone, it's the Chaplain here. We have set up the original, the classic, the 1984 setup as best we can. We had to get a little creative since we didn't have tiles for Wake Island, Caroline Islands, or the Solomon Islands. So what we did instead was we decided to kind of try to compensate for the IPCs. We gave them a transport and an infantry on the transport. But as close as we can to the original setup, this is what we have. Now you might be noticing there are some added territories like Georgia, Ural. Those weren't in the original game. Archangel and Novgorod came in later editions, but we did that to try to keep it spatially normalized. Luckily, since I have 2 copies of the Classic, I have a ton of Classic monies. What we did is we added up the territories. So each UK territory, color-coded here, has its IPC value on it and set them on the board. If you surrender a territory, you surrender your card. It's kind of detrimental feeling to hand over, you're taking this from me, here's my money. So Russia, Eastern US, and then over here, we've got the money, we've got tons of pieces. We had to get creative. We've placed, as Russia, I'm gonna put this up here. I want this in the sea. I don't want this in that I don't want this in the Baltic. I don't want to fight you to start. The blank tiles here are just because these territories are so massive. It's tundra. Don't go into them. Siberia, he says. So we have little markers to track our fleets. You can see over here, he really wanted to get that done, and I like the idea. So this is a test play of a hex normalized map of the classic. It's obviously a variation, but I think we've also decided to dub this the 4-inch challenge. I'm not sold 100% on that yet. I'm about 87% sold on it, but if you can make a hex normalized map of the classic edition with 4-inch tiles, my hat's off to you, sir. But this is what we're gonna do. We'll do video recaps at the end of each round, and we've got our map here for reference, so we can figure out if we need to tweak anything. But I'm ready to play. Are you ready to play? All right, let's get it. Northern Europe has been surrendered to the Allies. Boop. Death mine. Hey everyone, it is the Chaplain. We just completed round 1. It took us about an hour. It felt like it moved really fast. It didn't feel like an hour. But the hardest issue for us was to try to figure out how to wrap the map. So we have North America here, and instead of splitting it, so what we did was this blank tile up here represents the UK, and that's how we wrapped it over to here. Here's what happened in round 1. The Brits took Denmark, the Russians took Novgorod, America landed in Algeria, classic move. Libya was captured by the Brits. The Germans had a nice run in the southern part of Africa. Adding this neutral territory really allowed for the Brits to have some comfort. Now normally, I wouldn't build a factory in India in the Classic unless the Japanese threat was lessened. So turn 1, building a factory in India normally wouldn't happen for me. But because I had Bengal, this added territory, it's going to take at least one more turn for him to get troops against me. So I built a factory this turn. I think we've got a pretty good setup here. Japan came up in East Russia. He did take out the American fleet in Hawaii, but then I was able to counter that and destroyed 2 battleships, a carrier with a plane on it, and a transport and infantry in total in the round. So that was good. I lost a carrier with a plane on it and a sub. So I'm feeling pretty good. I'm sorry, I also lost a fighter. So I'm feeling pretty good about this. This is a good way to play a spatially normalized game. That's the end of round 1. It's looking real good. Let's keep going. Hey everyone, it is the Chaplain, end of round 2 for our spatially normalized version of Axis and Allies Classic. We've had a lot of really interesting moves. The Americans retook Alaska after Japan took it and called it Jalaska. We've rebuilt our fleet a little bit. Got a sub over here, battleship over here, but the US is looking kind of bare. That's okay though. Japan's transports are far enough away, and Germany doesn't have a single transport on the board. Japan did, however, build a factory here in Manchuria. I can't reach it immediately, but with this factory here in India, I'm hoping I can do something. Still a mess up here. Yes, that is 9 tanks and infantry and 2 fighters in Karelia. About to enter turn 3. Feeling pretty good. Having a lot of fun. This is a dead Japanese guy. Battleship off the African coast. A lot of good stuff happening. This is a lot of fun. It's challenging, it's different, and some of the moves have got to be different, but I'm having a blast. All right, so this is Germany round 3, and we can't see your face, so you're good. He's going to plan out his attacks. He already made his purchases, 3 fighters and a tank. We just wanted to show you how quickly an entire round of combat can go. So planes from West Europe to Ukraine. He's attacking the Russian masses in Karelia.
Chad and Libya.
He just took Chad and Libya. I'll mark those up for you. And then I'll hand you your cards of victory, which just hurt. So I'll give you back Libya, because it was yours. And Chad, there you go. So he blitzed over here in Africa from East Africa took back Chad and Libya. All right, Ukraine. You've got 3 fighters against 5 at 2. Go
Rolling
for it.
3 or 4?
You're rolling 3.
2 hits.
You had 2 hits, and I've got 5 defending at 2. 1, 2, 3 hits. And you had 2 on me. Boom, roasted. Okay? And now the massive Karelia. I had a bunch of garbage in here. I also have an AA gun, so I could shoot at all your planes. How many planes are you sending? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, 6 AA shots. 1, 2 planes of your choice are gone from the battle forever. All right, you have 3 at 1, 5 at 3, and 1 at 4. Oh, why would I put that upside down? Go for it. 3 infantry.
What are these guys? 3?
Your planes and tanks are 3, and your bombers are 4.
6 at 3.
You've got 2 tanks and 3 fighters. So you have 5 at 3.
Oh, the bombers at what?
Your bombers are 4. You're good. We'll just back him up a little so you know he's a 4. All right, 3 at 1. I feel like we can plan our moves way easier because of the spacing.
Absolutely. Right. Rolling the
5 threes.
The 3s. 2.
2, okay. And then your bomber at 4. That's a hit. So you got 3 on me. Here's my 5 tanks defending at 2. 1, 2, 3, 4 hits.
Whoa.
And my fighter at 4 is a hit. You have 5 hits total on you, and I have 3.
All right. 5 hits total. Taking 3 infantry. Have a tank on the ground. There we go.
Okay. You really want that territory because you want them IPCs.
Yep. And they have fire. Okay. What do we got? Bomber.
Yeah, go ahead. Is a hit, and then 3 at 3. Misses, 1 hit. All right, here's my tanks at 2, misses, and my fighter at 4 is a miss. Dang, that was a horrible round. Same rolls.
Bomber.
Is a hit. 3 at 3.
Done.
Oh my gosh. All right, here is my tank. Is a miss. My fighter is a hit. You lose 1.
Bombers a fighter. Leave the tank. Bombers retreat.
Well, that's unfortunate for me. Karelia is now German. There's your Karelia card.
Thank you. Bomber can go back to there.
Is that all your combat?
It's there. Combat was done there.
Yep.
Non-com.
Where'd those come from?
What?
Oh, you bought them last turn. That's right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right, I think we're good. Dropping new units. All there.
All right, everyone. It is the chaplain here. This is an end of round 3 recap, and we're actually going to have to call it quits here because I've got all kinds of obligations for whatever reason. My family decides to do things to me. So America is pretty strong here with the bombers, but has almost no navy to speak of. I sent a battleship to attack this battleship and was decimated. The Germans have 1 unit in Africa, so I'm really hoping that hopefully this Libyan tank will get over there soon and take that out. Brits have Western Europe. All of Scandinavia is exposed. It's looking like a real mess in here. Ray was telling me earlier he's never seen a game this thinned out, and I think the reason, Ray, is because normally our zones aren't 4 inches wide. But I don't mind it at all. Burma's been taken, Manchuria here as a factory, so I'm hoping that this Chinese Kwangtung Burma mess will be able to take that factory. Japan is sitting with a nice little buffer there. Really, there's a battleship, a German battleship on the board, and a British battleship on the board. Other than that, guys, it's just transports. There's nothing else. UK has some transports there and whatever, but anyway, this has been 3 full rounds of Axis and Allies 1984, the classic, the original, on a hex normalized map. This was our first attempt. Again, this is the 4-inch challenge. If you're feeling froggy, hop to it and make a map. We'll see. Help us fix some things, help us normalize some things, help us figure some things out. But I think that's it. We're gonna call it. I think we're gonna call it a draw, Ray. I don't think anyone really won. So we agree, it's a draw. Game over.